3 new cases of coronavirus have been reported in India today. That's the number on your screens. You can call us. We'll take your questions live. We have a senior doctor from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences who's going to join us here in the studios, and he will in fact be answering your questions. Dr. Anant, appreciate you being here. Before we take those questions and answer some of those calls, let's take you through the top developments on the top focus story for us. Like I said, 3 new cases of coronavirus have been reported in India today. 1 in Delhi, 1 in Telangana, and 1 case has just been confirmed in Rajasthan. The Uttar Pradesh government has said that there are 6 tests that are positive in the preliminary stage, but they are awaiting for the final results from the Pune Institute. The Uttar Pradesh government has said there are 6 positive cases which were in contact with the same individual who was tested positive in Delhi. Now, 5 families who were in touch and have been in contact with the patient who tested positive in Delhi have been quarantined in their homes. Parents test positive. The parent who tested positive, in the light of that, we're given to understand that the school at which his children studied has in fact been shut for a period of 3 days, and the children of the man from Delhi who tested positive, that school and another school in Delhi and another school in the NCR region has also in fact decided that they will remain closed until and unless a proper fumigation process is carried out in these schools. Now, this is the update that we have from India. Let's take a quick look at what the global spread of coronavirus is looking like. The total confirmed cases is now over 90,000. The US has seen a spike in deaths from 2 to 6 in the last 24 hours, all in Washington state. And the number of cases has also gone up to 105 cases. These are, of course, data that we're getting to you from the Johns Hopkins Institute. Confirmed cases and deaths that have recovered globally, including China, is 90,937. There are, remember, cases in China alone that have seen a high rate of recovery as well. So while of course the daily recoveries are now more than the daily infections that are being reported in China, and that's definitely been looked at as a positive step. Now, the aviation watchdog has stepped up the COVID-19 surveillance. Aviation watchdog has in fact come out and said that safety gear for ground staff is imperative, that it is extremely important to disinfect flights that are coming in from key affected areas like South Korea, Japan and Italy at the moment. Now, one of the patients who tested positive for coronavirus in India was actually on board an Indigo flight. Now, the Indigo Airlines has issued a press statement and they have clarified that the affected passenger on board the Hyderabad flight travelled on Indigo flight 6E96 from Dubai to Bangalore on February the 20th, 2020. Under the guidance of the APHO Bangalore, all 4 cabin crew who operated this flight have been placed on home observation immediately with effect from March the 2nd. We're following all the prescribed Airport Health Organization guidelines and are taking preventive measures for our crew operating flights to regions affected by coronavirus. Now, coronavirus and the news and the rumor mongering around coronavirus has impacted a lot of businesses, especially tourism. Here's a representative of a tourism industry who shares what businesses are going through at the moment.
Tourism is very badly affected because of coronavirus, and it is more badly affected because of fake news of coronavirus, and it is overhyped in the media and everywhere. And new bookings to Southeast Asia has gone down 50%. We are trying to make real videos of what is the situation and try to bring real facts to people.
So, well, this is the comprehensive update that we have for you on coronavirus. Like I said, Dr. Anant Mohan, who is a professor and HOD of the Pulmonary Medicine Department of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, is joining us on the broadcast. So, before, we have callers and we take in questions. If I could just ask you a question. There is a lot of rumor mongering, a lot of fear around coronavirus, but the global graphic that we just pointed out, which is that the number of recoveries at this moment recorded in China, which is the epicenter, is higher than the number of deaths or casualties that are being reported from the virus. Would you like to comment on that and perhaps dispel some of the fears and insecurities that viewers might have?
Yeah, that's true. So, no doubt that this new virus has come up. It's a novel virus, and it's called novel because we don't really know too much about it as yet. It has spread very fast in China and now in several other countries all around the world. So, the only thing is that it is also just like any other virus as far as the symptoms are concerned. The symptoms are not something which are very characteristic of a particular virus, it is just like
Right.
common cold, flu. So, it has a tendency to spread just like any other viral infection by the by coughing, by sneezing, by the aerosol route. So, it is the same thing. That is why again and again one emphasizes that we have to maintain a good hand hygiene, we have to be,
Right.
all those factors are there. But
So-
there is no need to panic. Again, I would like to say that
All
in this
right.
particular
So-
situation.
So, I think that's a really important point of view that you've just shared with our viewers. But we have two callers on the phone. I'm going to take both those questions directly and then pose them to the doctor. Sudhir Singh from Chennai and Rajnikant from Patna. Mr. Singh, if you want to go ahead first.
I'm from Chandigarh.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
मैं जानना चाहता हूँ क्या प्रिकॉशंस हम लोगों को लेनी चाहिए.
Right, precautions. Okay, so question one is on precautions. Mr. Rajnikant from Patna, go ahead with your question, sir.
सर क्या नॉन वेज खाने से भी कोरोना वायरस फैलता है?
Sorry, sir, आप दोबारा कहेंगे?
सर
All right. Is it linked to your diet? All right.
Non-veg,
Sir, do you want to take those questions? Dr. Anand, one, of course, on what precautions can one take and any dietary restrictions associated with coronavirus?
Yeah. So, again, as far as the precautions are concerned, precautions are pretty standard, but they are very important. Again, we have to be very careful as far as the spread through droplet infection is concerned. If there is anybody around us or we ourselves we have any such symptom suggestive of a viral infection, sore throat, runny nose, cough, body aches, fever, anything, then we have to be we have to take medical attention immediately. We should avoid going to crowded places and try to avoid, especially if there is anybody near us who is having such kind of a symptom. Hand hygiene and etiquettes, cough etiquettes are extremely important. Not to cough, not to sneeze in the open, always do it in a cloth, in handkerchiefs, very simple measures actually. Then hand hygiene, always to wash your hands with either soap and water or some alcohol based solution, especially if we are working in the healthcare sector,
Right.
taking care of patients or in contact with patients or their caregivers. So, these are some very, very simple precautions. And as far as the second question is
Dietary
concerned, the
restrictions,
diet
yes.
one, yeah, again probably that has emerged because most of the people who are affected in Wuhan had some contact with one of the seafood markets in that place, and that was
Right.
probably the source of this. So, the only thing we can say is that there is no conclusive evidence as far as meat or diet is concerned, but as a precaution, and especially in India, it is always a good idea generally also to avoid raw
Right.
meat. Always it is better to have cooked meat. As of now, there is no advisory which prevents you from eating any non-vegetarian food, but always it should be a well cooked food. I think that should be pretty safe enough.
All right, I think though that's extremely useful perspective. So no particular dietary restrictions, but of course the doctor here recommending that if you are eating meats, then it should be well cooked meats and not raw meats. So we have our next caller on the phone line. Mr. Banker is joining us from Ahmedabad. Go ahead, sir. What's your question?
Dr. Sir, my question is actually what I have observed is that corona has affected countries where the weather is very cold, like.
All
and
right.
in India, I think after the month of March, I think after Holi, I believe the weather is going to be very, very, very hot.
Well, that's a very pertinent question. That's a very pertinent question you've asked. Sir, there have, Dr. Anand, been a lot of conversation about cold countries versus tropical countries. India, at the moment, many say thankfully is heading towards warmer temperatures with the mercury rising. Is there any correlation between the festering of coronavirus and the temperatures?
So, again the answer would be more related to viruses in general and not probably particular to this coronavirus, because
Right.
again we do not know so much about it. We have not even seen one full season of this virus so far. But generally speaking, yes, in the cold favors growth of the virus. It is replication is probably faster. It is more likely to survive better in hot climate, especially in the tropical countries. The chances of survival may somewhat decrease, but again, so these are general comments, and we can only hope that they also apply to the coronavirus as well, and we can only wait and watch, and we will have to see how, when the season changes, what will happen, whether the pattern of transmission, whether the pattern of survival dips or it remains the same. So that answer will be that question will be answered only in subsequent weeks probably to come.
Right. Dr. Anand, I had a question, pertaining to the news developments of the day. We've seen that there are 3 schools currently across Delhi NCR that have actually decided, to close the school because there is a sanitization process, fumigation process that is going on. This, of course, because the one of the patients who's been detected positive in Delhi is actually a parent in one of the schools. So, is there any distinction in how adults respond to coronavirus versus children? Are children more susceptible, less susceptible? Does age play a factor, sir?
So, again I would like to quote 2 or 3 papers which have come out related to this in the last couple of 1 month or 2 months. They have looked at the clinical profile of all the patients, not all the patients, but quite a few patients who were having this coronavirus, mostly in China, and they try to look at the mean age and the gender and who they were affecting most, who were the people who were likely to be affected more. And they did find a trend that it was more of adults who were affected. It was more of the adults, the older adults who were likely to be affected more in a severe fashion, and children thankfully were less affected, at least in the couple of papers which have come out so far. So, that is the trend which we know as of now. Again,
So, if you are a parent and you've tuned into this broadcast and you have concerns regarding the day's developments and schools being closed, there is research that does point to the fact that children are less susceptible than adults or those who are perhaps older and ailing. Kim from Delhi is joining us on the broadcast with the next question. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Sir, good evening. सर मुझे फ्राइडे रात से फीवर हुआ है, उसके बाद रनिंग नोज कफ और हेडेक, उसके बाद थ्रोट भी हुआ है, खांसी भी हुआ है और बॉडी एक हो रही है। सिंस फ्राइडे नाइट से अभी तक फीवर ठीक नहीं हुआ, तो मुझे कोरोना वायरस का टेस्ट कराना चाहिए, लेकिन आई एम नॉट ट्रैवलिंग एनीवेयर।
Right, ma'am, that's a very important question, and doctor, I was going to actually come and ask you that question, because several of the symptoms that are described to be coronavirus symptoms are very similar to that of a common cough and cold or a common flu. How does one then distinguish between the 2 cases? How do you know that you have to get tested for coronavirus, and how do you distinguish it between a common flu?
So, again, because the symptoms are so similar for a common man, actually it is pretty difficult to distinguish.
Right.
So, the only thing is that we need to spread the awareness, one, that like she already said, that there is no history of travel. So, that in today's scenario, history of travel, especially international travel, probably would be the single most important factor that will take you to a doctor immediately, or because of which you must immediately consult a doctor. That is one. Of course, one can take medications, simple medications for 1 or 2 days. If it doesn't subside, it is always a good idea to seek medical advice rather than go for prolonged self-medication, because then the doctor and the medical person probably would go deeper into the history. Apart from travel, you may have attended some other public functions or something, and there you might have caught it from somebody else. So, then it becomes a job of the public authorities also to go back into it.
It's extremely important at this juncture that we don't spread panic, and there is no rumor mongering. So, a lot of times you could be suffering from the common symptoms of a flu, which are awfully similar to that of coronavirus, but in that case your travel history to one of the affected countries, or your interaction with somebody who has traveled to these countries or perhaps tested positive, is a great factor in determining whether you have what is called a common flu, or whether you are suffering from a more deadly coronavirus. That's an extremely important point. Our next caller, Zubair, is on the phone line from Srinagar. Go ahead.
Hello. Yes, ma'am. How much time will it take in developing the vaccine or medicine for coronavirus?
Right. So, I think that's a question on everyone's mind, which is pertaining to cure for coronavirus.
Well, as far as the cure is concerned, again, like most viral infections, we don't have a cure for coronavirus as well. So, as of now, the treatment remains only symptomatic treatment of these symptoms, the fever, cough and all that. We don't have any specific therapy for coronavirus. As far as the prevention is concerned, again, we do not have any specific vaccine for coronavirus prevention. And of course, because that's why it's a novel virus, because one doesn't know too much about it. And now a lot of research suddenly is being done on it. The Center for Disease Control, CDC, and many other centers are trying to do genomic studies, genotyping, and trying to go into the depth of all these things. But as of now, we don't have anything concrete, and it is likely to take time.
And no vaccination for prevention of coronavirus either. Our next caller, Abhijit, is on the phone line from Kolkata. Go ahead. Mr. Abhijit?
Hello.
Mr. Abhijit, go ahead.
Hello, doctor. Good evening. I want to know these masks which are available in the market,
Yeah.
I said, good evening, doctor.
Yes,
good evening.
we can
These
hear
masks
you.
which are available in the,
Right. Okay.
in
So
the
I think the question here is doctor pertaining to the masks. So are the masks effective? Is there any other equipment, so to say, that is available in a local chemist that one should in fact invest in and take precautions?
No, not really, because and even masks are not really for universal use. I mean, there is no point in wearing it by everybody all the time, but masks definitely will help again those people who are likely to be either at risk from others or those who are likely to pose a risk to others. So those who are having symptoms, they should wear a mask, especially when they are going out or when they are coming in contact with other people. And those who are in certain high risk category of service, for example, healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, and those who are constantly coming in contact with patients, they should ideally also wear the mask, ideally the N95 masks, which might confer protection against any potential risk by the aerosol route.
And in public spaces as well, doctor, masks are helpful?
Public spaces, yes, but again, if you are, it is likely to be, it is difficult for everybody to wear a mask for a prolonged period of time, and it is not recommended for routine use, even, unless you are really there for some amount of time and you are a high risk person.
All right. Our next caller, Mubin Sheikh, is on the phone line from Latur. Go ahead, Mr. Sheikh.
Good evening, doctor.
Good evening.
I would like to ask, actually people are confused with, mainly doctors, confused with quarantine and isolation. So, can you put some light on it, because mostly isolation is a different thing than quarantine.
Right. Doctor, would you like to take that on? Isolation, quarantine, the difference?
Yeah, so basically it is like a very subtle difference between them. Basically it just means that a person who is, for example, the people who came from the flight from abroad, so they were kind of put in quarantine. The reason for that is that we do not want them to spread the infection to the community. We do not know whether they are harboring the virus at that point of time or not. So they are put in a quarantine, so that they are tested. So they are tested at 2 points of time. In this case, in India, they are tested at day 1 and day 14 because of the incubation period. So we want to be sure that they are not harboring the virus at the time when they are with us, and that virus can be infectious to others even for up to 10 to 12 days after that. So that is it is a kind of a barrier. So we want to establish a barrier between the potential patient and the rest of the public. So more or less there is a very subtle difference between the two. It is basically to avoid contact.
Right, all right. The basic rationale is of course to avoid contact, especially if you've been susceptible to a risk in the past. Aubrey from Delhi is joining us, and then Kevin from Goa. We'll take both questions directly.
Okay.
Aubrey, go ahead. Aubrey from Delhi.
Hello, my name is Aubrey.
Go ahead.
From Sarita Vihar. I'm 78 years old. I'm a heart patient that have a stent. I also suffer from asthma and breathlessness. What precautionary measures do I have to take?
Okay. So
All right. So I'm going to take another quick question and get you to answer both. Kevin from Goa has also been on the phone line with us. Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah. If I'm standing next to an infected person, and if that person doesn't sneeze, he doesn't cough, there are no droplets, nothing, what chances are there that I will also get infected?
Right. Kevin, we'll take that question on. But sir, do you want to first take on the question of the 78-year-old heart patient, more susceptible than others? What precautions can he take?
yeah, so basically in general, people who are elderly and those who are suffering from other comorbidities, especially cardiovascular disorders and even respiratory disorders, especially like asthma this gentleman has, they are definitely at higher risk for kind of acquiring these kind of aerosol or environment related infections or illnesses. So, the precaution they have to take is slightly more stringent as compared to somebody who does not have these. So, whenever he goes out, I think ideally he should be wearing the mask, he should be avoiding crowded places, he should be avoiding any contact with a potential person who might be infected or having symptoms of upper respiratory infection, and himself, if he has any such infection, he should immediately seek medical care.
Right, and so the question around if you could be standing next to an infected person who's asymptomatic, so somebody who is not either coughing or exhibiting symptoms, could you still get the infection?
Yeah, one can. Technically, one can. Again, like I said, our information about this is still incomplete, and we do not really know the kind of rate of transmission from one person to the another. The rate of transmission is pretty high, and that we know because of the rapid spread of the infection in certain wherever it has emerged. But it is also possible that one may not get the infection also, because there is no cough, there is no sneezing. So, there is no reason to anticipate that when you stand next to an infected person, it automatically does not mean that you will also get infected.
Right. So, I am going to take the liberty to ask you the last question myself. There is a rate of recovery as well, even though you have elaborated in one of your earlier answers that there is no cure, no vaccination for for prevention at this moment, but there has been a rate of recovery, the rate of recovery higher than the rate of casualty in China, which is the epicenter. What's your take on that?
So, what happens is that the whatever data has emerged, the rate of recovery again depends a lot upon the underlying type of the patient. If the patient is already diseased, elderly, he is having some or the other problem, the disease is likely to spread rapidly and cause pneumonia. And about approximately 7 to 12% of them had to go on to a ventilator, and the fatality or the death rate was around 2%.
Your own physical level of fitness in a certain sense also determines your rate of recovery. Dr. Mohan, you've been very patient in taking on all the questions. Thank you very much for your time and for joining us on the broadcast. It's going to be a top focus story for us. We're going to continue to track every details and developments of this big story. Thank you for watching.